Do me a favor, how about a nice welcome for our first guest, John Mescall. John, come on out. Hi, John. Pleasure to see you. Nice to have you. Come on down here, sir. Mescall?
Perfect.
Where are you from, John?
I'm currently living in Redondo Beach, California.
Oh, my God, you're a very, very lucky man. It's,
yeah, well, you know.
Oh, sorry. What do you do for a living in Redondo Beach?
I'm a bartender.
Bartender? Oh, it's a good place to be a bartender, isn't it? You meet a lot of interesting people.
Oh, yeah.
What are you showing me?
We're in Marina Del Rey, California, and this is where the TGI Fridays is. I worked for a few years, and it's where the first ever TGI Fridays bartending competition was held around 1984. I worked here during the LA Summer Olympics, and this was like the epicenter of the world. It was like being in the middle of the center of the universe. People came from all over the world and partied at TGI Fridays. After the Olympics, we were all kind of bored because it was such a fun summer, and my bar manager decided to have a bartender Olympics just for the regulars, just a little put on a show, because I was kind of flashy behind the bar, doing tricks, juggling, whatever. So she decided, let's have a bartender Olympics. This is where it all started, at TGI Fridays Marina Del Rey. I wish I could give you a tour, but looks like it's a parking lot now.
When the big top comes to town, we all enjoy the jugglers. Our next bastion of booze has been keeping bottles and tins in the air since he discovered juggling chainsaws was hazardous to his health. He rode a log over the Canadian border to be with us tonight. Let's give a hearty welcome and a hearty A for John Mush Mescall.
Anyway, they just called 10 drinks out at random. You had to make them perfectly. You got great on that, and then you could do a little freestyle or whatever. There was really no name for it. It wasn't called Flair back then. So I did that, but then that's, of course, the part that caught on. Nobody wants to sit there watching you perfectly pour a drink. Bigwigs at Fridays, all the corporate brass heard about it. So they all came to sit at the bar, like, let's see this show you do, or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And so I was really nervous, but I did, whatever, made them some drinks. So I won that competition. And then, they basically said, like, we want all Fridays bartenders to look like this and act like this and be like this. They wanted all bartenders to be doing this. And I'm like, I've been juggling a long time. We're using glass and knives and glasses and glass bottles. It's dangerous. They're like, no, it's great. It's great. We love it. It took a couple of years. And I was in a couple of videos that they showed to all the, they sent to all the Fridays, like how to train for the bartending Olympics, which they call them. So a lot of the bartenders were taking my moves and building on it, but I was definitely the blueprint for everybody that started doing what later became known as Flair. 2-3 years later, they had a national competition. I think it was still called Bartender Olympics. And I went up against, in the regionals, John Bandy, who ended up training Tom Cruise for the movie Cocktail. The minute that movie came out, oh, you want to be like Tom Cruise? Once Cocktail came out, I was not the Flair guy anymore. It was the guy who trained Tom Cruise was it, and he got to go and, judge competitions and stuff. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind going to, being flown somewhere and be like a judge, whatever. So if anybody wants me, I'm up for it. It bothered me that I was being associated with such a horrible film. It's often touted as Tom Cruise's worst. Are you 1 minute on top of the world having fun bartending, next minute everybody's just so negative. That's one thing I've learned over the years is you can't control anything. I have no regrets.
Do you see the glass half empty or half?
I'm a bartender. I always see a half-empty glass because I want to refill it. I want to fill it up.
You want me to spot you? You need a drum roll? What do you want?
Drum roll will be
Drum
nice.
roll. Here we go. Anton John Mescall from Redondo Beach, California. Beautiful Southern California. There's the whipped cream, the ready whip out of the can, into his hand. Here we go.
Ooh, good wrist action.
Wearing a headband. And it's really, it's a tight headband.